everybody. Welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Zee Garcia.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
Hey, this is day 3 of the Summer Spectacular.
Woo.
And we just finished playing a whole bunch of cool games.
I whooped on you guys.
Sure. And go back and watch to see.
I don't recall. I was not there.
We want to say thank you to the sponsor of our the Summer Spectacular, World Series of Board Games, where we will be, you saw Luca and Angela playing games with us today and yesterday. They're heading home now, but you can see them at the World Series of Board Gaming, where the three of us will be, hopefully.
That's the plan. That's the hope.
Yep.
Mike will be competing.
Whoop.
I will be competing, yes.
In the all-you-can-eat buffet challenge.
That's right.
At the Rio.
Everybody wins.
No one wins.
No one wins.
No, the casino does.
The casino
Yeah,
wins.
the house always
The house
wins.
always wins.
Yeah, you should eat that.
What happens at the buffet stays in my stomach.
I was going to say, if it stays at the buffet, that's super
That's
gross.
disgusting. Yeah.
That's called Bacchus.
If I don't walk
Although
out of
one
a
of them is
buffet
stays there.
with
That's
two
true.
crab legs sticking out of my two back pockets, something's gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, I walk out of there looking like Doc Ock. Bunch of legs. Yes? Can I help you? I'm not stealing.
You come in with an overcoat.
Yeah.
And bye.
Can I have a to-go box, please?
Alrighty. Well, today we're talking about our top 10 annoying components. An easy list.
I thought it was people.
Yeah, well, I knew that joke was going to be made.
I like to get them out early.
Oh, okay. We got a long way to
An
go. But all
easy
right.
list in theory, in the sense of, I played a game before and I'm like, I hate this piece. I hate this. Oh, this is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you say, what are those annoying?
Yeah.
Right, they go away. Those things do vanish with time, but
No, my top 5 are like,
specific games.
some of them are, but like very specifically, that's a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Oh, mine are too, but I don't have, for the most part, specific games that feature that specific piece. It's more
Right.
a category of things.
Yes, I'm the same way. I did not choose one specific game. Now, for many of these, I had a specific game in mind, but we have a very talented person that handles our slides sometimes on here, and so I wanted to give that person full creative control. So I literally have no idea on what slides are going to be when they come up. I just have the categories that I gave this person. They asked one qualifying question, one clarifying question that I answered. So, hey, I'm as
What was
excited
the
as
question? Was it like, that's your number 7?
I'll ask you, or I'll tell you what the clarifying question was when we get to the number.
My 8 of my 10, I'm naming names today.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm naming
Okay.
names.
Okay.
You won't believe number 9.
Jim Jones. Okay.
Yeah, that's not he's an annoying person, Tom.
It's more of a, how about Joe Smith? I was trying to come up with a common name.
Joe Smith
Jim
is fine.
Jones.
Jim
has got
Jones
something immediately jumps to mind.
will give you
It's
poison.
50 years now. Let's just
to
start.
drink.
Oh!
Oh, I didn't bring a drink. I can't do the cool thing you're doing. Are you going to go?
Oh, I get
Cabs
it.
on
I was
cabs
like,
on
what's
north.
happening? Why are we at a lull?
It's not
I
Kool-Aid,
got it.
but
I
I'm
got it.
drinking
Okay, I
it,
looked
so.
over and I'm like, what's he do? Oh, got it.
All right, well, look. One of the components that you can pretty much expect in not every, but most board games is going to be a first player marker.
Yeah.
Usually it'll be something like a token, maybe a little wooden piece or whatever.
Love it.
Every so often, board game publishers have this idea that what we want is some kind of ridiculous trinket or something that makes no sense for the course of the game. Let's get to the slide because I have no idea what he put. Oh, that's a good one. I don't even know what that is.
That
Is
is
that
Suburbia.
Is that a first player marker, that blue thing?
I think so.
Oh my goodness! You outdid yourself,
What
Andrew.
is
I wasn't even
that?
thinking of this game, but yeah, that's ridiculous.
There's the giant gun from Travis Chance's game.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
You're talking about Western Legends?
No, Travis Chance's game. Is it Infamy you're talking
Infamy,
about?
yeah, Infamy has this big pistol gun, and you're like, yeah, that's the first player marker. Let's pass it around.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I don't know. Okay,
You get,
okay.
you know,
I mean, it's like,
big,
some of them have jewelry.
you're right. Gigantic
So dumb.
gold coins that weigh 1.5 pounds, and it's like, okay, I get it, but also you can kill me with that thing.
Especially when it doesn't move.
right.
You're first player for the rest of the game.
That's
It just
true,
sits there.
that's
and
true.
now you've got a coffee mug in front of you for some reason.
Yeah.
No
Even
reason
worse
why.
than that is some
Bigger and
games,
bigger the more Mike
right.
talks about
some
it.
smaller games even do the whole give the box to someone.
Oh, man.
I've seen that, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
insanity.
Right.
It's like, no, I don't want to move the box around the table.
No,
I
exactly.
want it out of here.
Oh, the wand and puzzle
That's
strike.
pretty ridiculous.
Yes.
That's the first. Is that a first player marker?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
That's the best.
You know what else it is? A child's toy.
It is a child's toy, and also your first player. So yeah, number 10 is when they feel the need to.
That was rude.
No, I said your first player. You get this toy.
I know.
It's
I
exciting.
said it's a child's toy, and you were like, yes,
Oh, well,
that's for you, Tom.
You are a child. So number 10, ridiculous first player markers.
All right, my number 10 is going to be, and a lot of games love to do this. They can't go full miniature, but they don't want to have some sort of 3D presence on the table. So it is 3D cardboard pieces where it's just 2 pieces of cardboard. It's not a structure. It's 2 pieces slotted into each other like this, so that it looks like video game graphics from early 90s, forest walking games.
Right.
I like. There's nothing about this that screams in my head I'm being fooled into believing this is a 3D construction of some kind.
Yeah, it's like the first. That's what the tree would look like in the first Tomb Raider.
You know
game.
what? This
Right, and
actually-
then you see it, and you're like, oh, forest, and you walk up and you realize, oh, it's flat. It's like you can see it on
Yeah.
both sides. That's what this looks like, and it never fools me, and it never quite is as charming, in my opinion, as maybe you think it is.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this.
I don't dislike it as much, but it did remind me when I probably would have put on the list is when sometimes games give you cubes that are a single piece, and you have to fold them and put the top and the bottom on and fold them around and snap it all in at the same time.
Like fold a cube out of cardboard kind
Yeah,
of thing?
it's horrible.
And they
I
all
hate
have to
it.
come together at once. Oh.
Huh.
What was
yeah.
the game that you reviewed recently that used a ton of like stacking trees?
Ever
Like,
something-
Probably this game. This
What?
is Canopy
Silverdale.
yeah.
This is Canopy.
Sylvan, what?
Sylvandale, Builders of Sylvandale, right?
It's so confusing. It's from
Yeah.
The company
Is that what this is?
No,
No,
sorry.
I
I thought
think
you were
so.
saying
But
you
you're
said
right. The
Yeah.
whole thing. I was like, oh.
this is Evergreen, Canopy Evergreen.
Oh, okay. Got
And it has a bunch of these also, and you build a whole bunch of them. But yeah, the 3D cardboard thing, not a fan. No,
Okay.
either use it or don't. Go in on that, or just give me a token or something. It's dumb. I don't like it.
Yeah.
All right, my number 10 is annoying 80% of the time, which is why it's 10.
Bad.
Okay, that's not
No,
bad.
but it's one I want to love in games. It's from our childhood games, and
Okay.
people keep trying to shoehorn it into Euro games somehow. And this is the lowly spinner.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Spinners are.
look at that.
Here's the
yeah.
problem with most spinners: you spin them and they don't move very well. They go one block or they
Yeah,
spin
yeah.
forever. and
Yeah,
you're waiting
yeah.
for it
They
to
don't
finish.
work well.
There is one good spinner in the history of humanity.
And I agree. I also think there's one. I wonder if we have the same one. It's an old game.
It's life.
The game of life is the best.
Okay,
spinner.
I was like,
yeah.
Life is an amazing
Especially
spinner.
if you put a little bit of
Exclude
vegetable
life.
oil. No, I'm not joking. Like if
Wait, are
spun
you
it a
used
lot-
to oil your game of
I
life?
put some vegetable oil, olive oil perhaps, Luca, into the spinner. That baby just hums. It's like when you first got a new car, right? Eventually,
Put olive oil
it's
in
gonna
it.
be
Yeah, yeah,
nasty.
yeah.
You got to simonize, and you got to put the carnauba wax all over that thing.
I still wish somebody would buy the rights to this spinner and put it in a fun game.
Is
It
it
would
like
be
you think
nice.
it's copyrighted, that spinner, you think?
Well, it's probably expensive to do a plastic spinner like that, but I
I
mean, with all these
suppose.
Kickstarter games, someone should have done it by now.
gotta say,
but
look.
most spinners are terrible. The worst are when they try to make the spinner part of the board,
Oh yeah,
Sure.
and the bottom is
That
underneath the
lifts
board,
up.
which lifts the board up,
Yeah, I hate that.
and then you spin and it just goes.
Mwah. Yeah.
Oh, I hate those so much.
No.
I think Wendy's Where's the Beef game had one of those bad spinners.
I don't think we should be using that. You know why I didn't like Wendy's the Beef game? Annoying
Well,
spinner.
the one spinner I encountered recently, and in our copy that showed up here was busted, was that Cthulhu, Tiny Epic Cthulhu.
You're right.
The one we got is warped. It does not spin. It's like,
been
come
eldritched.
on. This is the one part of this game I was really, really looking forward to, because it's like, okay, a spinner. Sure, weird. Doesn't work. We got a borked one. Ugh.
That's terrible.
All right, spin.
All right, so there's a lot of different ways to kind of track stats for a player, whether it's like a health tracker or a damage tracker or whatever. It could be dice. It could be like you're moving cubes on a tracker or whatever. The one that I've never understood, because they're always obnoxious and annoying, and they're usually on cards that then become bent and disfigured, are what I'm calling tracker clips.
Yeah, the paper clip
The
ones.
tracker clip, paper clip type things, these things. Well, that's actually not a horrible edition of one, Andrew. That's a pretty good one, Andrew. Thanks for ruining. No,
It's basically like they bite the card.
yes.
And then you move it up and down, and you feel like you're like whittling the side of the card with a knife.
Because you are,
Yeah.
and
Or
it's
they're
like,
really loose.
yeah.
If they're
and
too
don't-
loose,
they
they
don't
fall
track
off.
anything.
If they're too tight, they're
Right.
just racking it.
Right.
Or
Or
you
you
have
can-
to do the whole like remove it and reinsert it.
Yes.
Which defeats the purpose.
It's terrible. Or they could be the best component you've ever seen in your life, like this picture.
He's
Anyway.
undermining you at every turn.
Anyway, no. Good
job, Andrew.
Yeah, no. But just this whole notion of tracker clips, it's never, to me, the most elegant way to do it. There's so many different ways to track stats, and why would you go with this? Yeah, because it damages components on top of everything
Right.
else. So I do not like tracker clips. I like trapper keepers. I don't like tracker clips.
You like trapper keepers until that middle ring doesn't connect.
That's true, man. Oof.
Is
I'm
it
really,
also-
I'm
is
really
it
trapper
trying to bend
keeper-
it back in?
I'm
Is
reliving
a trapper
past
keeper
trauma.
just one of those like 3-ring binder things?
But it has a
That's a magical
patented
unicorn in the front.
Velcro opening, right? Yeah,
Where?
on the front of the notebook, front of the thing.
Also, they're themed, and I couldn't afford any because they're
Right.
too expensive for me.
Oh,
That's what my
interesting.
parents said. But the 3-ring notebooks, when that middle ring doesn't meet right,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like,
Sometimes
drives
you're
me
like, hey, they
crazy.
go to you snap them
You go,
closed
snap,
after
snap.
a few times, and the middle one goes, oh,
Yeah. Come on.
duh, didn't line up anymore. All right, my number 9 is going to be something that I think is very much appreciated outside of what we do.
Yeah.
But for me, and I believe for you as well, it's a no-go. I don't like it in mine, and that is dice that are sharp-edged.
I thought
dice.
I thought one or both of you would have.
They
this.
are, again, normally for casinos, for what have you, well balanced. That the super sharp edges, I understand they're good, and I understand they're more random or whatever. But I'm not a fan of sharp-edged dice. I find them to be just prickly and annoying, and they don't. They look like intimidating almost. And you roll them in your hand. You're like, good night. These things are like attacking me
in a
back.
casino, though, you're also throwing them across a very large table.
Right.
You're not rolling them like this
Right.
here in front of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to throw dice. Like, if you play a game and you stand up, you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, we're going to not do this
At
anymore.
that point, you got to go play somewhere else. Yeah, for me, sharp-edged dice, I'm not a fan. Now, the opposite could be true sometimes. Some dice are too rounded, I just don't run into that problem nearly as much.
Yeah.
But some dice, you roll them and you're like, all right, you can stop rolling now. It's like falling off the edge of the table over there.
There's a happy medium for
This
sure.
There's
reminds me
definitely a happy medium.
a lot of Lou Zaki. He ran a dice company and made sharp edge dice. And if you ever stopped and talked to him at a convention, he's either passed away or too old to come to conventions anymore. But he would sit there and talk to you about how these dice were rolled thousands of times by them personally, and he'd give you the whole history of dice. And so I used to go to people and say, hey, can you go ask him a question about dice? And then I would run away laughing because he would go on. He was a very nice guy, but he loved sharp edge dice.
I had some Luzaki at a Greek restaurant 2 weeks ago. It did not sit well.
Wow,
with
that
me.
was a rude.
Wow.
Luzaki, huh?
He just said he might
No?
be dead, for goodness sake.
Well, I'm honoring him. That's a tribute to
I
Luzaki.
don't think that's how that works. All right, my number 9, I have a specific game, but this could flow into other games. I'm a big fan of trays for things, usually.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
like trays
okay.
a lot, but some trays are annoying. And the example I picked is a game I love.
Oh.
It's in my top
Naming
10.
names. Here we go.
Nidavellir comes with two things that are annoying. Both the coin holder, which you have to build every game. Well, no, I think that one might fit in the box.
That
but
one does
still,
fit, yeah.
you put those coins in, they fall over, they fall out. The whole thing takes a while to set up. That's pretty annoying. But the card holders for the leaders, I've taken mine out of the game.
Yeah.
You just get a stack of cards because you're supposed to put them all in these little tiny card holders. And if anyone at the table talks over 10 decibels, they fall over instantly.
Oh my gosh, I just thought of another component that I didn't think about. I don't want to say it in case someone else has. No one else will have it. Card holders that make the edge cards hang over the sides.
They're not big enough. Yeah,
If you're going to give me a card holder and told me to put 7 cards on it, it needs to fit 7 cards.
I agree.
Yeah, but there are some card holders, and I've had them before in front of me, where the gravity pulls the cards down, and you're like, did anyone test these out?
No, they're so cheap. Yeah, if you get really, really cheap ones, they just flop over.
Yeah.
And I like that coin holder's there and that you put them in because you need that. I've replaced mine with a plastic one.
Yeah.
But that cardboard one, they're constantly slipping and falling off. If you're going to give me something to hold my stuff and make the game better, it needs to be better.
Yes. It shouldn't be there just to be there.
Card and coin holders.
All right. Well,
Say meeples.
there's going
Took off half the audience.
Do it.
there's going to be a bit of a theme, in some of my choices here. And sure, you can go the easy route and say that it's because of my somewhat advanced age, but I swear to goodness that things are getting smaller in board games. I do not understand why you have to make cardboard chits, CHITS, that are tiny and you need to get like tweezers to manipulate these things. Yeah, there you go, Andrew. You redeemed yourself. You didn't need to redeem yourself. You're doing great. That's from Food Chain Magnate, which I have not played, but those look like tiny little chits, and that stuff just drives me crazy. It's just like, why do you have to make something that is it's difficult to see, it's difficult to manipulate, it's difficult to pick up, it's difficult to do anything with, especially if you have to arrange these things in any particular way, or if you have to slot them into a particular place. It drives me crazy. And a lot of times I guess I can almost excuse it if it's like absolutely needed to keep the game in a decent table space or something along those lines. But there are plenty of times I've seen these and I'm like, you don't need to make these this small. What are you doing?
There's a lot of games I think would benefit from like a 10 to 15% size increase across the board.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're not just talking.
my game went hammer.
Well, we're not even. But that's they're actually making a statement, right? We're making it tiny. We're calling it tiny. You're getting what we're telling you.
Sure, right.
But like a regular game, sometimes,
Or
like you
worse,
said, even 10
when
or
the game
15%.
is big and giant and still has tiny components.
Right, right. This drives me crazy. Small chits, bits, pieces.
All right, number 8 is it's drawbags that are too small for my hands to fit into. It's
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
There's so many games where this is the one thing that gets replaced quite a bit. So it's only number 8.
Yeah.
Because I'm chucking that sucker. Like I am not doing this. Okay. Yeah. I'm not doing this like my 3, like these 4 fingers can fit in to about second knuckle, and then I'm just doing this like flip the thing over, grab one,
they're spilling
flip
out.
it back.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that! Oh, I only got 2. I gotta go back in.
No, it's worse when you
The
pull
funny
3,
thing is when
throw them back in.
Throw him back in.
When Z
I'm
first
cheating
brought
at that
this
point.
up, I stole a couple of glimpses at his hands because I was like, I wonder if this is a Z problem or no, you have normal sized hands. So
Yeah, pretty normal. No, some games definitely have an
It's
issue with this, and I don't know,
ridiculous.
again, and maybe it's we ordered the bag from this company and the chits from this company, and they were never together at the same place until we packaged it,
Right.
Because some barely fit the bits in there and certainly don't fit a human hand.
So I don't think they need to do more hand play testing for this type of thing. It's
Right.
like
So I understand.
I volunteer.
let's get average humans
I
and
agree.
measure their hands and make sure that this is not,
You test mechanisms.
Right.
How about hand insertion into bags?
I must have blind. No, that's good. A
Yeah,
good call.
there you go. Let's be careful. Let's step lightly. Drawbags
Yes.
that are too small to fit my human hands are a problem.
It's a good call. I hadn't thought of that.
All right, my number 8 is not a problem in many games, but it's egregious when it happens. So I'm going to use an old game as my example because I couldn't think of a modern game that has it, even though I know I've played one in the last 3 or 4 months.
Okay, I got you.
And this is having tiles or chits in the game that have a different thing on two different sides, and that can be used. Two-sided
I
token
don't like
sheets.
this either, yeah.
So 7 Ages is my example because they were terrible. This shows you a lot of the components of the game, but they have a whole sheet of wonders of the world. On the back of that sheet are all the leaders. So, like, I'll play a card that says Julius Caesar, and I'm searching through this pile, and you got to flip them all over to the leader side to find Julius Caesar.
Was this on Machu Picchu or was this on the Colossus of Rhodes?
In more modern games, a few companies have tried to save money by putting point chips on different sides of the tile, and I hate like a 1 on one side and a 3 on the other side.
What happens if you bump it?
It's terrible because you're like, oh, here's all my points. Oh no!
Did you really have all 3s, Tom?
Yeah, that's
or money. Some games do it with money.
Right.
You're trying
it's
to
like
save.
Again, I might lose track of my money. I might lose track of my victory points.
Right.
Yeah, you're trying to save money. I know on the production, you just can't do this.
That's terrible.
It's a mess to sort things out. I just played a modern game that did that. The one that was Meeple Inc.
Oh, the tabletop.
Tabletop Inc. Right. Yeah. So in that they have cards that you're supposed to give to people for other players, and they have one color on one side and one on the other side. And so you're supposed to take one color for each other player.
Okay.
And you're trying to flip back and forth to make sure you get one of each player. I'm like, this is such a pain.
It's terrible.
No way, yeah.
So, yeah,
That's
no, I do
terrible.
not like this. But fortunately, it does not happen much.
Yeah. All right, so my number 7 is a pretty broad category, but it is shocking to me at how often this happens, how easy it is to spot, and how could it have not have been addressed before the final game went to production?
Okay.
And that is a score track. It seems like so often board game publishers are like, well, we can't have a score track that just goes around the outside of the board and where the pieces all fit and it makes sense.
This is a terrible score track.
Is this Pueblo?
This is from Mojito
Oh,
games.
it's the Mojito version.
You have to turn that piece back and forth each space. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
It's like this stuff happens all the time. I remember a game, an old game called Prosperity that Knizia and Bleasdale
didn't
did.
that go like
It
up
went
and
all
down?
like this, and then the player cubes way outsized the spot that you
that's
put it
almost
on.
a slot itself.
Yeah.
Score piece is too big for the spaces they're
Yes.
on.
I put
Yes.
all of that in this. It's like, how can you mess this up so many times and so many different publishers? And it's just like, this is not like a little oops, I can't believe we missed that. This is your score track.
Don't get cute with a score track. At
Right.
the end of the day, that's what it is, right?
Absolutely.
You can get cute with a lot of things.
Right.
Hey, look at that dead space on the board. You want to draw a hunt of a bear in there?
Put a donkey
with
in
2
there.
geese
Right.
dancing. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
I'm not looking over there. It
Right.
doesn't affect gameplay. Don't get cute with the scoreboard.
Do not. Do
you know,
not.
the score track where you're like, oh, we're only putting in like, the Fibonacci sequence numbers. I'm like, no.
Right.
Don't get cute with that.
Also, can your pieces stack
Can they
on
stand?
the same spot?
And if they cannot, make each spot big enough that the pieces can sit and they can all fit in that
I
spot.
want beveled plastic cubes.
Well,
that
sure.
you can't even put a second one on top of there.
that's
It slides
true.
off.
It's
You're like,
crazy.
oh, I hate these people.
It
like that.
is crazy. Yeah.
That's a good choice.
All righty. My number 7 is something that crops up in games when they often don't include enough resources. And the solution seems to be
Find a
something
suitable
I
replacement.
had.
Choice.
No, my solution. Oh, there's that. There's like find a suitable replacement.
Yeah.
But my thing that maybe only irks me is the ×5 piece.
Oh.
I'm with you, man. I
There's
hate
that
these.
multiplier like the ×5, the ×3. And so the idea is I have 12 lumber, so I take a ×5 and I put a piece of lumber on it and another one and then 2 more lumber. And if I bump it, I'm like, hold on. What's also is the 5
A 6?
5 of this?
Right.
Or is it
That's
5
6.
and this? Do I have 12 or 14?
Right. I'm always going to choose 14, by the way.
Every time I'm like,
Right.
wait a minute, did I put an extra one on there?
I hate that.
Yeah. It's
I
annoying.
hate that so much.
Yep.
If you're gonna give me a like times 5 because you just didn't want to make enough nice resources, then you pre-print that thing on there.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I can't make the mistake that it's 5 and 1.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I agree because I always want to make it 5 and 1.
Yeah, and just forget.
Oh, this reminds me of another one where the 5 pieces are 1/10 bigger than the 1 pieces.
Yes.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. That's a big one for sure. Yeah, it's like, come on. But anyway, yeah, the multiplier resource tokens thing, no. Give me more bids or pre-print on there. This represents 5 of stone. And then I don't need to put a stone on it to remember that. That's my number 7.
I don't remember my number 7 because I didn't write it down on this sheet. Well, I have it written down, but I didn't number it. So Chris, just show me what it is, and I'll remember.
Here we go. Number 7's a big deal.
Oh, that's right. The tapestry buildings.
Really? Oh, I know why. Because of the bases. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I love the tapestry buildings. I don't. In one sense, I think they're cool.
Yeah.
They're another example of things that don't fit properly on grid.
It's true.
That lighthouse is such an egregious example. It's not the worst though. There's one where you're like, does this take up 8 or 9 spaces? Now, fortunately, at Etsy, many people sell things that Stonemeyer himself should sell that you snap on the bottom so they fit neatly in that grid because it matters.
It does matter.
It matters that they fit in that grid. In the Dice Tower Library, which if you come to Dice Tower East, you can play with, we have them in those bases.
That's right. Yeah, it takes this game up a whole point for me, I think.
Yeah. It's
those bases.
Right.
It's just it's kind of annoying that and again there's other games like that too where when you start putting stuff on your grid after a while you're like, we're going off grid here because all the pieces don't fit in properly. They're either too tight or too loose. So I just picked tapestry buildings as
it makes
my
sense.
example.
That makes sense.
Thanks for the super chat, Anthony.
Thank you. All right, number 6 is going to be for sure first world problems, but let's be honest with ourselves. Every single one of these are first world problems, but this one is maybe more so. I've gotten spoiled by dual layer boards. Bottom line. So to me, I'm super annoyed when there's a cube, specifically when you're tracking with a cube that is single layer.
This is your second score track.
I've got issues. I've got issues with a lot of score tracks, and so this one. No, this is. I guess I put score tracks, but to me, it doesn't have to be score tracks. It can be health tracks. It can be
No, I get it.
Yeah, it could be anything that you're trying to track with a cube that moves. We need to be going to dual layer at this point.
Right.
I mean, it's just it's a quality of life that is pretty much, I think, should be standard in board.
I would equate it with the you know how the boards used to have that mountain in the middle, the valley and the mountain when you fold a board, a board. We don't do that anymore because we've learned to do better. Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Some cheap productions will do that, but I agree with you.
That's the word, though. Cheap.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, how do you feel about instead of a cardboard layer and another cardboard layer with holes, just the one level with holes to the table?
I'm okay with that. If
it's like a one layer, but it simulates 2.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
I'd rather have that than just a flat cardboard.
You can't always do that because sometimes what's underneath matters. Like if you put a 4th thing here, you get a bonus.
Yeah.
You need to have that.
But you can print that on the table.
I'm not. I mean, I realize that what I'm kind of complaining about here is like adding a little bit of money to.
Forget it. Keep going.
Adding a little money to the production, perhaps. But I don't get the impression it's that much different anymore.
And Zee insulted me and I missed it.
No, I said, but you can just print that on the table. And you just moved on. Chris giggled over there, and so did I, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I like this one. This is I like dual layer boards. I would not. Single layer boards don't annoy me. It would not have made even my top 20, I think.
Yeah.
But you're more spoiled than I am.
I am, and I also, a lot of times, it can ruin your game. You could be 3/4 through a 90-minute game, and something bumps the table, and you're pretty much...
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
And definitely there's been, like, how many did you have? I think it was 3, but
I'm
not keeping track. That's why I have the sheet.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. All right, my number 6 is pretty straightforward, and that is any game that has cards, and those cards...
Oh.
Any game that has cards. Tom? No, any game that has cards, and those cards are a funky shape without needing to be a funky shape. Weird shaped cards. Why are these cards round? Why are these cards
Those are-
know?
That's a really.
Oh, that's true.
That's a very good
Innovation
Yeah.
has those really weird shaped cards. They're hard to
It's like
shuffle.
vindication.
Vindication. What did I say?
Innovation.
Vindication.
Yeah, that's the one. They have the weird cutouts on the side.
Yeah, I know.
There's like triangular cards are an absolute nightmare to shuffle.
Yes, they are.
There is the cards from this old trading card game called Hecatomb that were pentagonal cards.
Yep.
You know, and again, it's not just that the cards you're like, oh, these are annoying to shuffle, and they're annoying to deal, and they're annoying to collect, and group up. They're also annoying to like store anywhere, and they're annoying to sleeve, and it's like everything that you now decided to because you were going to be cute. Is a problem that cascades down to other things I now need to deal with because you decided to be different.
Right.
Yeah. And again, be different in other non-functional parts of your game.
Right.
The cards, don't get too crazy with cards.
Right.
They're dealt with. They need to be,
They're dealt with? Huh?
I get it. My number 6, weird-shaped cards.
Like it.
For my number 6, I'm using another example from Mojito games.
Wow.
So it could probably be used for several examples on this
Unfortunately,
list.
you probably could.
That's
yeah.
unfortunate.
And this is
True, yeah.
terrible player screens.
Oh, this is
So,
good. This is good.
Here at Mystery of the Abbey, this is the new Mystery of the Abbey, where the screen does not cover your sheet. And that falls over.
All the time,
Or
yeah.
a screen that you might as well not have one, because anyone who's over the height of 4.5 feet
Right.
can look over and see everything you have.
Or there's nothing on the back of the player screen and there's no other player aid in the game. Put it on the screen,
Right.
This one is just phenomenally bad.
Yeah.
It just
That's-
cracked me up how...
Especially since this is a deduction game.
I know! You literally need to keep that stuff hidden.
Yeah.
And the screen is too small. This is the worst, I think. But there are so many times where we set up player screens and people go, ugh. What's the game that has a player screen on a player screen?
Player screen on a...
Alchemist, yes, from CGE. You have one player screen and you put another one on top. That's not so bad. CGE's quality is pretty good.
Wow, okay.
But still, come on, let's stop with the... I get... Whenever a game has screens, I'm kind of like, cool, but also... Can you give me a big honking screen? So
I
can
agree.
hide my
Player
stuff?
screens are definitely not one of those things that if I see it, I'm like, because they're often not cut so they'll sit back, which
Right.
they need to do.
Yes.
They're often not big enough or weighty enough. Even if you like the information, I'm actually not a big fan of information on the inside of a screen because my screen's down here. I gotta be like, I can't pick it up, or I'm showing you everything.
Have you ever played a game and realized when you finished that there was information on the screen?
I have.
Like information I should have been looking at. I guess. So,
I
yeah,
never
yeah,
played
yeah.
a game like, oh, all that stuff was
Right here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't actually like information on the inside of a screen that I don't have somewhere else. But no, this is a good pick.
I like, again, you need player screens, especially in a one versus all where someone's hidden.
Yeah.
Just give me a great screen, especially if there's one.
Yeah.
No excuse, but this is the worst. This is the worst. Mojito. That's the second time on the list.
Terrible. Five. Oh, we are at 5. Okay, good. All right. Well, my number 5 would probably have been higher on my list, maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
Because although this is a very annoying component, and I almost always would rather have something other than this, there are some versions of it that are a little better, and I'm talking about paper money. All right. So this is kind of an obvious choice. I think almost everybody complains about paper money, and that's because it's generally garbage, and you can usually have some better alternative, right? To me, when I see paper money, my first thought in my head is, this game is cheap. The rest of the components are going to be garbage also.
Right.
Now, there are some exceptions. So, I mean, I could call out a couple of good ones. DeVere with Rock Hard. That's really good paper money. We just played that Hot Streak game, and that has nice paper money.
That was actually pretty good paper money,
Because it almost feels more like fabric, like the Stonemaier rule book.
I
kind
would
of
still
thing.
rather anything else.
Anything else.
Even,
I like
even
the-
good paper money, I'd
Right.
rather have something else.
I like
agree.
the paper money in Dice Town, but that's also linen finished.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what we played.
verging on like plastic.
That's kind of what we talked about. But
Yeah.
even that, I would prefer it some other way, especially at Dice Town. Of course, you're raising the price, but poker chips would have been great, that kind of a thing. But, like I said, 5, it's gone up a little bit. It's a little less annoying because at least some companies are finding ways to make it less
this was
annoying.
my 11.
Yeah.
This was close.
Yeah,
And it's very rare. Like this one, like you said, it's more like an obvious thing.
Yes.
If you see paper money, it's probably bad.
It's probably bad, and you tend to think the rest of the components in the game are probably bad too.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, my number 5 is going to be cardboard tokens that you need to punch, but they have very irregular edges. And my example for this is the token for this is the noise token for Zombicide, Undead, or Alive, which is now a single noise token. So I like that. It's no longer like a mess of noise tokens. But they made it look like a little cute explosion.
Right.
And I'm not kidding when I say if you punch this, just punching it, it will look like that. All the edges are busted.
Right.
It already looks like you've been really taking this game for a spin. No, it just punches like that because the edges are so sharp. You drop it, you move it, you give it to somebody else, and you even just hint at hitting one of those edges. It's swollen up. It starts to fray. It's horrible. Tokens need to be circular or square at best. Don't get crazy with these shapes.
Right.
You know, sometimes they even have like skinny parts, like a bottle. You're punching like a bottle of potion or whatever, and they go skinny for the neck. It's like, oh, you're playing with fire here. That thing bends. That's it. Now you got floppy bottle.
You got floppy bottle, and you can't,
Okay.
that's a problem.
That's going to start fraying. That's going to be an issue.
Let me ask you, gentlemen, a question related to punching tokens in general.
Yes. There's only one right way to do it.
That's what I want to know.
Oh, yes. And I just punched the game out yesterday, and I realized halfway through I was doing it wrong. Halfway through the first sheet, I'm like, I'm doing this wrong.
So the question is generally,
Yeah, go ahead.
do you punch it in the way that where the indentations are facing you? Like
No.
so, or do you turn it over on its backside to where you can still see where it's connected by the paper just a little bit and punch it that way?
Yes.
No, Tom is wrong. It's the other way.
I wanted to hear I had a feeling there might be a disagreement on this.
No, and I'll tell you why, because it will rip more easily if you do it your wrong way.
Disagree. You will leave the paper there and you will punch the cardboard away. You
No.
can literally push the cardboard away and like through the paper. You need to continue the punch from the machine.
Because the paper, they always do the worst cuts on the other side. So I'm going to punch from that side to make sure I get through it because your thumb is hitting harder on that first half.
That's crazy.
What
No,
do you
that
do?
is like I've never had a stronger disagreement
You're not going to like my answer.
than how
You're
to
gonna say
punch
you don't
board.
care?
No, I'm going to say it depends on the game because I will tell you, Tom, most often I will go Z's way. But if any one of them ever catch, then I flip it and I start punching from the back.
Right, and I've had that happen to me enough in my life
Yeah.
that I just start from the back.
Okay. Yeah, no,
The best way to do it is very clearly you put your palm on the back
Okay.
so there's even support and you punch the way the machine punched. That is absolutely the best way to do it.
Okay.
There is no second option.
I see.
No.
I see a new video series, Punching with Z. I think you need to do an instructional
Done.
video on how to punch cardboard correctly.
Done. This is happening. Kickstarter next week.
Well, I'm out now.
Was that yours?
My number 5 is one Z told me not to put in the list, but I did it anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good.
Well, actually, it's an agreement with Mike here.
It wasn't really. I didn't tell you not to put it. I said, I don't think I'm going to put it. No one's going to know that game. And you
yeah.
had this smirk on his face. I'm like, you put it on the list, didn't you?
So my number 5 is really small tokens, and I
Yeah.
use as an example here. I have 2 examples. So the old one, which is Clippers.
Yeah.
Clippers had these really tiny little tokens next to a penny. That's how small those tokens
They're
were.
real. Those are real tokens. Okay.
And they mattered.
They really mattered. Yes.
Who controls this area? Like, hang on, let me get the magnifying glass out. But a modern day example is a game that's humongous, Dinosaur World.
Yes, it's
that
bad.
comes with these tiny little numbers
So bad.
that you have to put them out.
Yeah.
On these tokens. They're on these big giant hexes.
It's terrible.
And these tiny little numbers. And then I just recently played another game. What's the remake of Beyond the Sun? Beyond the Horizon.
Yeah.
You have to move pieces around with little tokens balanced on top of them. Stop making. Yes.
Wow.
This is definitely an old man problem.
No. Nothing is as bad as
Nah.
Clippers. I played Clippers back in this, and Alan Moon games. It's a
It's a
decent
good game.
game.
Yeah.
But no, this was It's laughably bad. You know what
Yes.
it looks like? The size of these. You know, like if you play like on Matched when you're building the wheels.
Yes.
It's the bit that
It's
falls
bit
out the
that
middle.
Falls out of the middle. Of
That's
the
how
wheels.
big these are.
That is great.
And you were meant to keep them and use them. It is wild. It is hilariously small. That's a great pick. I love it.
Tiny tokens.
You know, the only thing worse than tiny tokens,
It's tiny dancers.
tiny cards, or cards that have ridiculously small text on the cards.
matters.
That matters. What are you doing? Look at all that white space here. I didn't pick this picture, but it's a great picture that Andrew chose there. This is a good game.
Well, let me
Yes.
ask about that. Is there like a graphic design thing somewhere that says all the text on all your cards should be the same?
Well, I know Z is a strong
Ideally.
believer that you want all your text to be the same, all your
Yeah.
font to be the same size. But I'm
I
sorry.
disagree. If you have that much white space, make it bigger.
You need to do something. Something needs to be figured out because this is terrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the uniformity
Yeah.
of. I don't mind the big empty white box when other
I
cards
do.
use the whole thing. But then you need to figure out how long a card can be. Do it the way Magic the Gathering does
Something.
it. You know what I mean?
Right. Have some.
Like their text isn't bigger when it's less.
But they're a little inconsistent. Sometimes they'll put trample, and then they'll put in parentheses what it means.
Precisely why they're inconsistent, because trample, if they have the space to write what it means,
They'll do it.
they'll write it. If they don't have the room to mess around, they're like, trample. You know what it is,
Figure
nerds.
it out. Yeah.
Let's
Google
move
that.
on.
Google that.
You know what it is. Spend your money.
I'm also thinking of like, and again, it's oftentimes in really good games. I like Empires of the North quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right. Also, Obsession I like quite a bit. But those little cards, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
There's
Yeah.
no game that has smaller cards than Obsession. but
It's
yeah.
crazy,
Do you like-
right?
What about Ticket to Ride?
Ticket to Ride. Oh,
The original actually, I think it still comes in the regular version.
Yeah.
They're small Hobbit-sized cards.
Yeah.
And then if you buy the 1912 expansion,
I'd rather not.
1910,
I'd rather
sorry.
have the
Well,
bigger
the new
cards.
reprint of Ticket to Ride that is coming out will have normal sized cards.
Yeah.
It took them 20 years.
And I think the reason
Exactly 20,
I think
that's
the
right.
reason you don't do it is out of just stubbornness. It's like, look, there's no reason to have these cards as small.
Yeah.
Make them bigger and make it more usable. Make it so that your game is more accessible to more
Right,
people.
right,
That's
right.
all it is, right? Sometimes there's going to be some practical reason why they just can't make them much bigger, but that's very rarely the case. It almost always is the case that they could have just made them bigger.
Yeah.
Right? So it's hard enough, especially when you're having to look across the table and you have to read the text that's on other people's cards.
Right.
It's crazy. There you go.
All right, my number 4 is a component that I know they have different ways of doing, and some I absolutely do not have a problem with, okay? I'm talking here about cardboard standees, specifically the footy foot
Yeah. It's
of a
terrible.
cardboard standee,
It's
okay?
terrible. Yeah.
Some cardboard
With bumps.
standees.
This is my number 4.
Are you serious?
Wow.
This devalues a game the minute you buy them.
Yes!
Yeah.
Look, some of these, I've seen them. They're out there. They exist. You just don't, you can even like pinch it a little and they like open up and you put the cardboard in it and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It holds it. It doesn't damage it. And then you got those old Fantasy Flight ones that are not like this. They're like the
Fantasy
dog bone.
Flight.
They have the dog bone bottom.
Yeah.
You got to shove them into the cardboard and they got these 2 teeth and 1 tooth.
Yeah.
And they go, and they just wreck the card. They like literally chew up a token.
Yes, they do.
To the point that I can take it off, show it to you, and ask you which way was it placed on. You're like, well, this has 2 bites, and this one has 1 bite. I know which way it went. It's wild to me.
It bothers me so much because you ruin so many tokens. Have you
You
ever tried to
do.
do it and you put the token in and then it pulls on that thing and you're like, oh,
It scrapes off the
it's
literal
it's
printing.
unfixable
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Or I've also snapped some of these before because I
Yeah.
pull them apart too much. And they also made the ones that have kind of a weird bump in the middle.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
slide it in and it doesn't fit and it goes halfway in and gets stuck.
And then it starts to bend the side of the card and
I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
hate this
No,
because
this
it's
is-
just so annoying.
yeah.
That's
And it-
hilarious. I thought no one else would think of this one.
No, that really, it legitimately upsets me,
Yeah.
those bumpy ones.
This,
yeah.
I wish I had thought of this. These are terrible.
I will say this is something that seems to have been fixed more recently?
I don't know. I haven't
most of the time they
seen-
fit these days.
They
I don't know if I've
seem
seen
to
an
be better.
FFG game lately do it, but they've done it up to the Arkham Horror games did it, and all
Didn't-
those games did it.
Didn't Outer Rim have it
Well, a
too?
lot of them have
Probably, yeah.
those black ones now that you just slide it straight down. They seem to work pretty
They're
well.
better. They
usually.
just kind of have two sides. They don't bite as hard, and they're okay.
What they really
those,
should.
Those give me negative flashback. I've ever I gotta open this thing. Should I use tweezers? I don't know.
I know.
I think we can all
Trying to
agree
get
that
in
the best standee bases, though, are like the original Mountains of Madness bases, the big black ones that cover up the card underneath that you can't see.
I don't remember that one, the Mountains of
don't?
Madness.
Those,
You're talking about
the minis things. There was this there'd usually be some really cool artwork, and you put a big black plastic thing over it, you don't see it anymore.
You're talking about the Aposistic game, the Mansions of Madness?
I thought, that.
You said Mountains of Madness.
No, not mountains. Mansions.
Yeah, Mansions of
Oh!
Madness. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the bases are enormous. Yeah,
So
yeah.
stupid.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've gotten a little bit spoiled. It's interesting with this topic. We've gotten a little bit spoiled with components over the last decade or more. Games just keep getting cooler and cooler, and the components keep getting better and better. And so, if I am going to get a custom meeple, I love custom meeples,
Yeah.
right? I especially like custom screen printed meeples. Those are really nice, right? What I don't like is a game that has 387 wooden meeples that now need to be stickered. My number 3 is meeple stickers. Do it yourself or screen print them.
I think this is a passing phase because they've now figured out the tech to screen print them pretty. It was expensive for a while. It's getting cheaper.
It's heat transferred now. It's not that hard, right? It really is not that hard. And it's
what
like
about if the meeple sticker is 110% of the size of the...
That's just evil.
That's also fantastic.
You're
That's
not getting
fantastic.
stickered at that
or
point.
It's the exact size of the meeple, which
I
is just
agree.
as bad because you're never going to get it, and it could be perfect. Intellectually, it could be perfect.
It could be.
I'm just imperfect.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna every time I put the sticker on, more and more of my soul and self-esteem is gonna die.
Right.
Hey, I had the I like Everdell quite a bit. I've had a couple of the Everdell expansions. I'm gonna get the Everdell Big Box. I got the Everdell Big Box. All of these custom meeples. I saw the sticker sheets, multiple syllable S's on the end. And I said, no, I'm not going to sticker these. I put it back in the box.
And you
I
sold the
sold
whole
my
thing.
Everdell Big Box. I
That
do
was
not
the exact
own.
same reaction I had. I opened it up, I saw those sticker sheets, and I was like, nope.
There's no way.
Packed it up and got rid of it.
I don't
Yeah.
own a copy of Everdell now, and I still like the game.
Oh, I have Everdell.
I do refuse.
I just to keep the big box there.
Yeah, no, it's just
Yeah.
there's no reason to have to do this anymore. Let's leave stickers, where they belong.
In children's
kindergarten.
I like stickers.
Well, you are a fan of stickers, Tom.
I do like
I
stickers.
didn't call you a kid earlier today. You're
right.
asking for it
I'm
again.
just- yeah, well, you know what?
All right.
I'm just going to lean into it.
I'm going to give you a gold star for that answer.
Aw.
That's
Okay,
my
I'm still in my 40s. How's it feel?
Not good.
my number 3 is a crossover with one of you two. I don't forget who was that. Mike? I think it was Mike. I'm old man moment. One of you two said this.
All right.
You're talking about tokens where the two sides are different. Were you talking
That
about
was
this?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, there we go. So score tokens, and I couldn't find an example really either, so I picked this picture because I don't know. But it's like, imagine then, if you would, that the one VP tokens there on the back are 5s or 10s. This is mirror images above and below. This stuff is out there with
It
money,
is.
with victory points. You find it, you put it in front of you, and then make sure that you never put your arms down again on the table and pick one up and it flips. Or that you don't bump anything. That's it. Now it's a precious moment you need to be playing with here. So I really just, like you said, it's incredibly annoying if you are really strapped for that much extra cardboard. I'd rather you do the ×5 thing than this, honestly.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
higher.
Yeah.
Just give me like a 1 VP and then the ×5.
Right.
And I'll keep stacking the ones on there. I don't, you know what I mean? No, don't do this.
Yeah,
this is evil.
Yeah, basically you have to take a picture of your player area every end of your turn to feel confident.
Just
at the time.
in case.
Let me refer to my forensic photos here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So for me, score tokens or money with two different sides, that's a no-go.
All right, my number 3 is a crossover with Mike, and I very much agree. And I'm going to give 2 very specific examples.
All right.
Do it.
The boards that are not dual layered,
Yeah.
and they really should be. So I'm picking Terraforming Mars and Maracaibo.
Yeah.
Right? These are the biggest one, and I know they're a big deal because if you go to Etsy,
Yeah.
you can find lots of solutions for both of them.
These
And-
two games literally keep Etsy in business.
That's correct.
Well, Terraforming Mars probably that might be
Probably
true.
does, yeah.
But with Terraforming Mars, you have to keep these cubes on a track where the cube is it's slightly bigger than the spot that it goes in.
Yep, hate that.
And if you bump that board at all, you don't know how many resources you have, and it matters.
Yep.
Maracaibo is even a little bit more annoying because it has these little brown discs that need to be in those spots till you pull them off. And so for that one, I bought an acrylic sheet that went over the board.
Right.
And for Terraforming Mars, they themselves came out with dual layer boards finally.
Finally, right.
In their upgraded version of it.
That's good.
But look, I would love every board in history to be dual layer boards. But
Sure.
for some boards, it matters more than
Right.
others.
That's the
Right.
thing.
That
It
is the
matters
thing,
for some
yeah.
games more than others.
Right. I don't need everyone, but
and
yeah.
we know Terraforming Mars is a problem because I would guess $100,000
Oh.
went into
I'm
the
listening.
purchasing of
Oh.
all these extra boards.
I agree, right? If
Yes.
you keep seeing a solution crop up
Right.
from different outlets, from different people, then maybe there was a solution needed. You know what I mean?
To be fair, Terraforming Mars has spawned a lot of upgrade stuff. I don't understand why. It's such a beautiful looking game.
I talked to someone involved with the making of Terraforming Mars, and they refused
They were
to
blind.
admit there was a problem.
There was a blind person.
And I
That's
said,
what
no,
I'm
but look at Etsy. They're like,
Yeah.
well, people shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, they
What do
should.
you mean they shouldn't be doing it? They're
should
making more
have
people
to be
play your
doing it.
game.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
anyhow. Yeah. So I really, these in particular are egregious, but any board where if you bump it, you're like, well, we just can't finish the game.
Right, yeah. It's frustrating. And the people that play Terraforming Mars, I mean, this isn't a negative thing, tend to be people that they take their gaming relatively seriously,
Well, many
right?
of them might have their boards memorized in their heads.
They might. They
But
might.
I don't trust them.
I don't trust them either.
No.
So this one, my number 2, has it's close to another one of your picks. I can't remember. I think it was related to you when you were talking about Nidavellir, maybe.
The card holders?
Yeah, so this is not exactly that, but my number 2 is cardboard constructs that have to be disassembled to get back in the
Yes,
box.
baby.
I almost put the
I'm
Everdell
so
tree on my list.
glad somebody put this
I'm
on
so
here.
proud of you put this one on.
I didn't. Andrew did, but I would
job,
have.
Andrew.
I would have picked it too. It's just like
I know you love this company.
The stickers, especially.
the
All of that
stickers,
is a sticker
yeah,
surface.
Every one of my things. But I really like Everdell. My number 3, my number 4, my number 5. They're all Everdell.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Well, this isn't Everdell. That's
That's
is that
Everdell.
that is Everdell.
Yeah.
But what's the company that does it all the time? The Korean one with they made the bag building one. They have a big waterfall.
Oh, Bad Comet.
I like Bad Comet a lot. But
Right.
They like making
They
these
do,
big
like, 3D
They
things.
do,
Yeah,
yeah, and you have to disassemble them to get them back in the box. It's like, come on now.
And how many times does it last? Like 10? And after that point, they just slide in because they're going to slide right back out halfway through the game.
At that point, you need those clips from Fantasy Flight so you can cram them onto the end
That's
of them.
it,
But yeah, no, it's just you gotta make it so that it either fits in the box or you change something about it, because it's just everybody that sees at the first, like, oh, this looks really cool, and they put it together and like, that's not going back in the box.
No.
It's a deflation immediately. You're deflated.
And I abhor when people go, well, just put it on your shelf.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to, when I take the game to someone's house, bring a game and also bring the Everdell tree.
Bring the whole shelf now. No. Nah,
They
not
need to
going
make
to
a
do
bag
it.
that holds games and a side
Yeah.
tree
Right.
and other cardboard and sundries.
Yeah, it's rough. It is rough.
What? 3D, this is an area, like, that would be a good pitch for, like, a backpack, gaming backpack. Games. You can pack 12 games. Also, area for 3D component. There's a big loose bag on the side. I like that. All right, my number 2. My number 2 is stretching the component requirement for this list.
Is it rule books?
It's an insert thing.
Oh,
And so it's like
fine.
stretching like the definition, but this is so egregious and bothers me so to my core that I knew it was going to be on this list. And that is very simple. It's a well of cards where the finger hole does not go all the way to the bottom. Are you kidding me?
so specific.
Look! Ah! Why? That would have taken you 3 more millimeters, would not have exactly, compromised the integrity of this load-bearing
That's a
box.
load-bearing wall.
So bad. I'm trying to think what the person who did it, like their justification is.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, that won't hold cards. They just levitate off the bottom. What are you talking about? Now I got to remove every other component and then flip the box over.
No, you got to do the push. You're pushing really hard on one corner and hoping
No,
to
I
lift
try
up a
to hold-
micrometer.
I try to not take everything out, but hold the other pieces.
Oh yeah, that never works. Or you get one card and try to somehow fish them out.
That's true.
It's like that never works.
Flathead screwdriver, whatever you got to do.
It's like
That's
just
terrible.
blows my mind
That is
that this is
terrible.
still happening. Oftentimes coupled with another major faux pas, which is the well for the cards stops halfway down the box.
Yes.
And I'm like, then I got like the 2 floating cards that like to travel the land of, Generia. And I'm like, you could have made it deeper. Like you got this much room towards the bottom. Sink the cards.
Right.
Put the finger hole all the way to the bottom.
Right.
What are you doing?
Have you seen an upset sleever before? You better give him plenty of room, right?
Just unbelievable.
Wow.
I do not get this
Also,
one.
put a finger hole in.
Right.
There's a lot of modern ones that don't even have
They
it.
don't go for that. Yeah. So, this one's a big issue for me.
Do you like the ones that have the little seesaw at the bottom where you push on it and they come out?
Fine, it's something, but
Yeah.
if you just put the hole, I can get it myself. You know what I mean? I don't need you to give me like one of the basic machines for me
Yeah.
to figure out how to get the cards out. Put a pulley.
Well,
Give
give
me
me
a
a
pulley
lever-
to get my
lever and
cards out.
pulley
No,
here,
it's
yeah.
fine. I can figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, my number 2 is a crossover with Z because this one bothered me so much I moved it to number 2, and that is tiny tile bags that only
Yes.
children and people with very small hands can fit their hands inside. It's
The same picture.
but it's so frustrating for a couple reasons. And you mentioned pulling stuff out of the bag, but also just mixing the stuff. You put the tiles in, and they're like, now mix them. I'm like, how?
Nope.
Nothing
Shake a
else.
bag. I'm
Shake
like,
and bake.
And it doesn't
This
shake.
ain't doing nothing.
All the tiles just go boom, boom,
Right.
back and forth.
Whoa.
Hello.
I agree. No, there's no shaking. There's no mixing. There's no
Right.
randomizing. The ones I put in there last, I'll be pulling them first.
You end up doing to the point where you can get 2 fingers to almost get the bottom, and you're doing this thing, and you're trying.
Oh, it's
Fortunately,
awful.
this is getting better.
Yeah.
But this is also the one I see more often than not. Like, I'll get a game that's an amazing production, and the bags are too small.
Are they almost assuming like, oh, they'll change them, they'll upgrade
I
them?
don't think so. What are we using Crown Royal bags? I mean,
I don't know. Right? Maybe.
where are the bags coming from? We
Yeah.
have a drawer, but we're like a.
That's our business.
I wonder. Yeah, we're in the bag business. No, I think you're right. I don't know what it is, but they usually are very nice, like embroidered. They'll have the logo
Yeah.
of the game,
Right.
And immediately you're like, well, it's beautiful, but I can't use this.
Every bag needs to be a Castell bag, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
I don't mind when it feels too big.
When it fits on
I'm
your
like
head.
happy. Yeah, you're like, you can wear it as a mask when you rob a bank.
I'm good with
That's
that. You know what I
fine.
mean?
We're
You
in the-
walk in demanding my money, and I'm like, ooh, you're a fan of. I see you, and you enjoy Subterra. I also like delving in caves. Here's my wallet.
Why are they robbing your bank and you're giving them your wallet?
I don't know. It's
All right.
personal.
Well, this is my number 1 choice because if there's one way you can immediately make me disinterested in your game, it is to include this component in it. If I'll turn at the back of the box, or God forbid it's on the front of the box, I will run screaming.
Dice Tower Seal of Excellence.
That's correct. That is correct. My number 1 most annoying component is a sand timer. Why?
I considered this. I did.
Really?
Why? Because A, it means it's probably a real-time game, and I hate real-time games.
Sure.
But B, they're very rarely accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're usually the cheapest component you can get. Like, sand timers can be real cheap, right? You don't know the integrity of the plastic. You don't know the integrity of the narrow. Is this a consistent narrowness between
You sound
these?
like a sand
you
timer
don't have.
expert.
He's
You
about
don't
to,
know.
like, he's about to tell
don't-
us like he perfected the sand timer.
You don't have the You don't have the consistent velocity.
You too can buy this.
or the viscosity of whatever the material. The bottom line is, anytime I see a sand timer in a game, A, I'm probably not interested because I hate real-time games.
Okay,
B,
that doesn't
they're
count.
not accurate.
Okay.
No, C, it usually just means that the rest of the game is probably going to be cheap too. I don't know. This still screams mass market to me.
But how many times
Okay.
have you been in the middle of a game
Yeah.
and you look at the timer and realize it's stopped? It's more than probably 10.
Yes. No, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. And so it's just there's no reason to have a sand timer in your game. If something has to be timed, I'm pulling out my iPhone, first of all. It's
Sure.
just, I don't like this. Like, it has a bad connotation with me. I take out the real-time thing. That's just my personal, like or dislike. But they don't work well. And it screams mass market to me. It just does.
I don't know about that.
It does, to me.
The concept of the sand timer to me is cool. It's just that very few companies use them very well.
Yeah.
There's very few games where you're feeling like that is adding, and it overcomes that feeling of this feels old and kind of janky and busted or
Actually,
whatever. Yeah.
And they
It does
use
work really well in kites.
I haven't played
Yeah.
kites. There's
I
a
don't know.
couple of games I can think of that I like with sand timers.
Right. Well,
But yeah, you're right
Yeah.
that it's usually like, well, can we improve on this at this point?
it's usually the 2-cent sand timer that falls over too easy, or a lot of times when there's sand timers in games, there's a dexterity element where you got to be flipping them quickly and they're
Yeah.
all knocking over. To me, they're just annoying. I
By the
hate
way,
sand timers.
we just played a game with a sand timer a few days ago, and they still haven't come to a solution to the problem. Let's say it's a 2-minute sand timer, and you have 2 minutes to do something, and you do it in a minute. And then we're like, well, before the next person can go,
We'll wait a
let's
minute for
all
the-
wait
Yeah.
quietly together while this last
There
minute
you go,
goes
yeah.
through.
You gotta there's gotta be able to pull Chuck out of it, and
That's
and
right.
then you reset it.
That's it. That's it.
We're gonna
We're
gonna make the
fixing
perfect
this sand timer. This is happening.
It's time for the age of sand timers is over in board gaming. Is all I'm saying.
Ooh, that's a good name for a board game. Age of Sand Timers.
Age of sand timers.
It's just sand timers in parentheses at the bottom.
The reckoning.
All right, my number one is something that I still see, and I do not understand why we still do this. It's a very, very easy thing to fix. It is certainly going to alleviate players making mistakes, and it just drives me insane. As soon as I see it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a thing. And that is score tracks that wind back and forth. Why are we still doing this back and forth with just the barest of hints as to which way I should be going? Like
Right.
I'm walking down a Parisian avenue, and I'm like, am I going that way or am I going that way? It's like, come
It's
on,
worse-
this one's okay.
It's worse when there's no numbers.
Right,
Right.
this one's like, because it has every single number.
Right.
Though, to be fair, your token will be covering the one you're on, but then you can see that, like, okay, 56 and 57 are this way, so cool, that's up. But some don't do that. They just have this, like, every 10, and then it's arrow this way, loop this way, arrow this way, loop this way. I mean, how often have you guys started scoring something and realized, oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. Let me back off those 3 and start counting my new 7 points from now.
Or worse,
Yes.
someone else is handling the score track, and like 3 turns in, you're like, I should have a lot more points than
Yeah.
I do. And they're like, oh.
Oh, maybe I moved to the wrong way. You're done. You don't, Nick, you're
Ah.
done. You don't have
No
to bump
clue.
the table at that point because
Right.
we don't know. We had no idea at that point. Huge problem. I do not get it. It's also, I love it. To give a counterpoint to this, I absolutely adore it when the scoring is 10 across,
Yes.
then 10 beneath that, then 10 beneath that,
It's so easy.
and
you
they
just move
line
the cubes
up.
down. Yeah.
You
just
got
move the cubes
22
down.
points. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Done.
Right. It's great.
Oh my goodness! Why are we doing anything else?
How about the ones that do when they're the way you want them, but they go to like 8 because that's what fits on the board?
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's good stuff.
Ugh.
Alrighty. My number one is a specific game because it is the worst one, and it's sort of a crossover with Mike because this company is now on the 4th or 5th edition of this game, and they keep refusing to fix this problem.
Oh, wow.
Everyone hates it. Even the people who love the game. And this is Betrayal at House on the Hill. Those trackers on those things are the worst.
Those are exactly the type of thing I'm talking about.
Nobody can read them.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is probably the best version of it. They get loose. They fall off. Forget.
It's also like, it also happens to be in this game a little arrow, like it makes an arrow point that points at numbers that are a
tiny.
solid centimeter away. You're like, I feel like I'm threading a needle here. Which one am I pointing at, the 4 or the 5?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
But in one version, then they went over the numbers.
Yeah,
and not
that's
just
right.
one of them, but a couple. And you're like, I think I'm a 5.
Yeah, this is wild.
I have yet to meet a human being who thinks they're good.
Right.
No, they're terrible.
And this comp. Hasbro sucks anyway. All right. Sorry, Hasbro, we'll take your sponsorship. But they suck. And this game is like the definitive just stubbornness to fix anything.
I kind of
It took
agree.
them forever to move the garden off the 3rd floor or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It took them forever to admit they still haven't fixed the broken haunts in it.
Yeah, no,
which everyone knows are in there. And then this. It's like they just don't care.
I wonder, like, why are they so hung up on the Pentagon with the 4 sliders on it? What's that about?
I don't know.
Well, it's like, ooh, a Pentagon.
Is that what it is?
They've also gotten away with people just accept. They're like, oh, it's just a crazy fun game. You got to take that with it. It's broken. Who cares? Ha
I
ha
don't
ha.
like the game. I like the game.
Yeah.
I just hate. But I agree. I think they're like, people are
People are
going to
buy it,
because
yeah.
I know this game has sold
Oh
probably
my gosh.
millions.
Very,
It
very
sells like
well,
crazy.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean I'm not going to call them
I
out.
wonder how many Etsy upgrades are there for this game, I wonder, because it is popular.
It is.
Oh,
I'm
that's
curious,
interesting.
you
I
know? There
don't
must
know.
be ways to fix this on Etsy.
I would think so. Yeah, if you just replace every component with something better, I would think that would be the
Buy a
well. But you're
different
not
game.
fixing the broken haunts. But
Yeah, I almost put timers on my thing.
See,
Mike.
there you go. It's Mike Heller. The broken parts of the game are part of the chime. You're the problem, Mike Heller. That's why they keep printing this game broken.
If you think that, I have a very charming game I'd like to sell you.
There's one that almost made my list here, and that was the My Turn token, where they give you a token to show it's your turn. So I take token, do my turn, then I pass the token to you, then you pass it to Mike, and then it never gets passed again for the rest of the game.
That's it. We
Yeah.
forget, and after a while, you're
we
like,
forget.
"Oh, I should have that. It's been 3 people, but here, give me."
It doesn't matter
No,
who has that
no,
stupid
no.
token. No one. I mean, it matters, I guess, for a couple games.
Yeah.
Where like if you take a turn, I take a turn, and then you follow me. We're
Right.
Like, well, whose turn was it to begin with?
There's
Yeah.
a few.
There's a few where
like
it's
that.
important.
If you pass it immediately and nothing else happens, then you don't need that. Yeah.
No,
And I definitely thought about paper money.
Yeah. It like I said, it's still. I know it's the most obvious one, the one that people are like, oh, I bet that's gonna be on
Also,
there. but-
dice towers. But anyway,
Very few games have dice towers in them. To be fair.
Wingspans dice towers sucks. I don't like it.
Oh,
And I found
really?
this out because when they took that mechanism out of and Wormspan and Finspan, I was like, don't miss it at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we played a game today with a dice tower.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, it has to be taken apart to get in the box. But all right.
A little bit.
a little
yeah.
bit. Not completely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what your most annoying game components are in the comments. Thanks, everybody, for watching. This is day 3. We still have more stuff coming tomorrow. What's coming tomorrow? Let's look.
find out.
We have Lightning Trade. That's the new game from Dire Wolf. Battle Monsters. Justin's coming from Restoration Games. And Mike is going to go up against Joey. I think he's probably going to take Godzilla. So you're
He
gonna
will
take
not take Godzilla.
Ooh.
I have already told him. When I found out we were playing this game, I called Godzilla. On the group meeting, you all heard it.
Yeah.
I called
Yeah.
Godzilla.
And we're also playing Calypso. And there's more tours of different studios. And then at 3, we'll have a game show that you can join and see. Can you beat Mike at a game show?
Seriously, that's what it is?
Yeah.
Oh. It's like everybody against me?
No. You guys will play. People can play along at home.
Oh.
Nobody wants to know
Trust
if they
me.
can beat me.
You
though,
can
Mike.
beat me
That's
at a
the
game
thing.
show. You got no
Okay.
problems. You got no problems.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Until next time and tomorrow morning, I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Mike DeLisio.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.